What's up, Cougs? Welcome to another edition of Coug on the Clock. I'm Derek Joseph here with Gavin Norley. You may recognize Gavin from Wazzu Record Room. So we got a little crossover going here today, Wazzu Sports Network and Wazzu Record Room. So it's great to have you here, Gavin.
Thank you. Yes, I am happy to be here on Coug on the Clock. I'm happy to talk about Mariners baseball as well as WSU baseball.
And we'll also be talking about our rankings of Pac-12 QBs along with the Masters golf tournament happening this weekend. All right, our first topic of the day, the Seattle Mariners opening their season this weekend. Yeah. Gavin, what are you excited to see out of the Seattle Mariners? And let's just state the obvious right off the bat.
Yeah, well, obviously Julio Rodriguez is the guy I'm looking forward to seeing the most. I mean, he's only 21 years old, got named to be opening day outfielder. I hope I see him starting first game against the Twins. I've been super hyped for Julio. I got to see him in Everett when he was there last season, and I think he's the third best prospect in all of baseball. So pretty hype. I can't lie. As a Mariners fan, being able to actually have like prospects to look forward to coming up, like I haven't really had that because the Mariners since I've been alive have kind of just been always bad, or they sign old guys and that's like who I'm supposed to be excited for. So it's different. It's different, but it's a good different.
So yeah, I really would credit Jerry Dipoto too. For the class that he's brought in for the Mariners since he came into town. Like he tried to keep the All-Stars around for a little bit, and then to his credit, he blew the team up, and he had done a great rebuilding process. Yeah. With Jared Kelenic and Julio, like those guys have just been really fun to watch climb up the ranks, and then even the other guys we got coming up, like you got Logan Gilbert, you got George Kirby, and then Matt Brash, who also made the opening day roster as well. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys play. And, what do you think you're going to see out of the Mariners this year, record-wise and kind of just like overall skill-wise?
I mean, record-wise, I remember last season before the season started, I think Fangraphs had us at like 75 wins or 70 wins, which was fair because going into the season we weren't that good. But, we ended the season with 90 wins and completely shocked everybody with how we did towards the end of the season. And I think we're just only going to improve off of that. Now, I'm not saying we're going to win 90 plus. I'm not saying that, but I still think like 85 to 90 is an exceptional record and acceptable record to expect from this team with the new additions they have and the young talent with wanting to prove more, wanting to win. That's kind of been the rhetoric they've had is I want to win a championship for Seattle. So,
yeah, I totally agree. I think that this of all years is definitely the year I can see the Mariners just finally breaking that horrible drought that they've had in the playoffs. It's just been
God, I hope so.
It's been it's been hard to watch, and like just as a fan, it's been fun to watch them actually improve and get some young talent in there, and even seeing the young talent just get better as time goes on.
For sure.
You have guys like Mitch Haniger who came in pretty young, J.P. Crawford who came in pretty young, and now they're the veteran leaders on this team, and they're still pretty young, so it's like you're going to have these guys around for a while, and they're going to be great leadership.
Oh, yeah.
So I think, unless you have anything to add,
I do not. Love the Mariners. Go M's, of course. Had to throw that out there at the end.
Yep. And so that brings us to our next topic, WSU Baseball.
Oh, boy.
A team that's not quite as good as the Mariners are going to be, but you know what? They're still our team, and they're still fun to talk about.
Right.
They have good moments, but it's been rough for them this past stretch of games.
Yeah, especially the Gonzaga loss they just had. They just lost 12-0. that one hurt. It hurts to get shut out, but then to also have the opposing team score 12 runs on your pitchers is just sucks. That's the word I'm going to use. Is sucks. It is not great. I think Wazzu's problem has been run support. I won't lie, because the pitching hasn't been horrible. They've had some decent starting pitching. Their bullpen obviously could be better, but it hasn't been like horrendous. But I think our offensive output is where the struggle has really been.
From what I've seen, I feel like the WSU pitching, like their problem is they give up a lot of runs in short bursts.
Right.
So when your team is coming from behind right in the beginning of the game. It's kind of been the first and second innings that have been their biggest problem. Like they let the other team score 6 runs in 1 inning.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, but then the rest of the game, the pitcher kind of just settles down and then they pitch shutout ball. And, you know, it's kind of hard as a lineup to have to score 6 runs right off the bat. You know, it's not an easy thing to have to recover from, but you know, sometimes you'll see them be able to do it. Like we've seen 2 walk-offs at Bailey Brayton Field this year already. So it's been, so you know that they're capable of beating good teams, and you know they're capable of having success. And you know, like they just remodeled their facilities and everything, and people are still kind of just starting to discover Cougar baseball as a great thing. And I think Brian Green is a good manager and just a overall good guy. And I think this program is on the up and up, but you know, it's not necessarily there yet.
Right. Well, I mean, like, and comparing it to the Mariners that we talked about earlier, it's like the Mariners didn't become good out of nowhere. Like, they still had a couple of seasons before this season where they struggled and kind of like had the 2019, they had like the bad year. 2020, 2021 was like the mediocre year, and so the next year is like the good year. So I feel like Wazzu might have like a similar trajectory where it's like the bad years are now, but towards the future we might be seeing more success. Once we start bringing in more recruits and bring in just overall more talent, I feel like it'll just build a more successful program.
Yeah, I agree with that, absolutely. You know, and it doesn't help the Cougars that they're playing in one of the tougher divisions in college baseball. You know, you have to face Oregon State. Arizona's a really good team, and Gonzaga is also like the fact that we just had to play them. That doesn't make anything easier.
No, it does not.
Also, so I think that's a good place to end that topic. So let's move on to our next one. Our rankings of next year's Pac-12 QBs. So I'm going to let you read off your list first, and then we'll look at mine, then we'll kind of compare the two.
Okay, I got the list right in front of me here. So I'm just going to kind of go through them. I'll say the school and the quarterbacks are, you know, their starter. So USC with Caleb Williams, I have him at number 1. 2, I have UCLA, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. 3, Utah, Cam Rising. 4, I have Washington State's Cam Ward. 5, I have Stanford's Tanner McKee. 6, I have Arizona's new transfer, Jaden DeLora. 7, Oregon, I got Bo Nix. 8, Oregon State, Chance Nolan. 9, Cal, Jack Plummer. 10, UW, Michael Penix Jr. 11, Colorado, Brendan Lewis. And then my guy in last is Arizona State's Paul Tyson. All
right. So I have Caleb Williams, USC as well, on number 1. And then Cam Rising, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Tanner McKee for Stanford, Cam Ward for WSU at 5, Bo Nix, Chance Nolan, Jaden DeLora, Jaden Daniels, Jack Plummer, Michael Penix Jr. for UW at 11, and then Brandon Lewis out of Colorado in last. So just kind of right off the bat, I noticed we had Cam Ward just like flip-flopping a little bit.
I just really think Cam Ward's like skill set is going to work on this offense. Like, I mean, obviously with Dicker bringing him in and getting that new offensive coordinator and helping bring in Cam Ward, I just think this offense is going to succeed with a guy with his skill set. So that's why I have him there, just because I think like I'm kind of looking at where I think they'll be at the end of the season, and I could totally see Wazzu being like the 4th or 5th best team in the Pac-12.
Yeah. See, my thing with Cam Ward is just we don't know much.
Yeah,
you know,
that's also fair.
Like he's coming from a smaller college to like a slightly bigger one. You know? So like obviously he's playing in a much tougher conference, and the Pac-12 is definitely just on the up and up in general. So Cam Ward's going to be like, it's going to be a big question mark going into the season, but you know, but I'm excited to see what this guy can do for us after the transfer of Jaden DeLora. You know, it's unfortunate to lose your quarterback, but what we got in return, I think, is a lot better.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like, obviously Caleb Williams, I feel like is the consensus number 1, but like you said, like it's kind of a question mark too, because I mean he went from Oklahoma to USC. Like obviously, you can argue Pac-12 is probably weaker, but I mean that's still a different scenery, and like. Maybe what if it doesn't work out? What if Caleb Williams isn't the same guy that he was when he was on Oklahoma? Maybe the talent isn't the same. I don't think we have to worry about that, but you do have to question it, you know, because it's a new team, whole new environment.
And I noticed we both had Michael Penix Jr. for UW a little bit low.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say this about him, is that, you know, he's a good player, but, you know, he's he's fighting with Sam Heward to be
Right.
the quarterback of a terrible team.
Yeah.
So that bell means that we're done with this topic,
Yeah.
though. So we'll move on to our last topic, the Masters, happening this weekend. You know, currently we have a lot of great first day of golf,
Yeah.
and just moving into the weekend, we're going to have a lot of great storylines to see. You know, obviously the top storyline, Tiger Woods making his comeback after that horrible car accident
Yeah.
he was in last year. So it's great to see him back out there. You know, he shot -1 the first day, so we'll see how he progresses throughout the tournament. But it's been fun to watch him kind of just make this comeback here.
Right. I feel like Tiger Woods' whole career is just going to be like exceeding expectations because this is what he's been doing since he was like, 2 or 4 years old, like just shocking people with how he's able to just overcome so many odds. Like the dude almost died a year ago and is still out here like golfing in the Masters and not even doing it like badly. Like you said, -1, like that's amazing for somebody that a year ago I didn't even know if he was going to ever golf again. And it's stuff like that where it's like Tiger Woods is always going to make it exciting to watch. And I mean, that's why he's considered like the greatest golfer because he makes must-watch golf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And who do you see winning this tournament? Because I have a few that I listed here. I think that Jon Rahm has a pretty good chance at this tournament because last year he didn't make the cut. So you can a lot of times when guys don't make the cut and they're as high caliber of golfers as Jon Rahm is, they tend to come back with authority. So I like Jon Rahm in this tournament. And I also like Jordan Spieth, a guy who's been there before and a guy who's won this before. So this will be. I think that those are my top two.
Those are both. Those are both really good picks. I really like Dustin Johnson. Justin Johnson's had a really good first day today. I think he's tied for second right now as of our recording. But he's just been like hitting the ball so well, and like it's almost every single time he's on the green, he's basically in shot of getting a par or a birdie, just like almost every time. Like he's been dominating so far. I like him a lot. Scottie Scheffler, I know Scottie Scheffler is like the #1 golfer in the world or whatever, but I still think you got to watch out for him just because of the way he's very low key with how he does everything. And so I feel like he's going to slowly like rise up, and then towards the end of the tournament, you might see him maybe tied for like 4th or tied for 3rd with like, I don't really know the score that he'll have off the top of my head, but I feel like Scottie Scheffler is a name to look out for.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And then just kind of my sleeper here is I could definitely see Tiger Woods just quietly making his way toward the back of the pack, you know.
For sure.
Just like maybe not get that. Like I want to see him make the cut.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the goal I want to see for him. If he's able to do that, Tiger Woods is dangerous in those last 2 days of the Masters because nobody knows that course better than him.
Right.
And nobody plays better golf in those last few rounds than him.
I agree.
So with that will be the end of this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Twitter at Wazzu Sports Network or Wazzu Sports Net and Instagram at Wazzu Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Coug on the Clock. I'm Derek Joseph.
I'm Gavin Norley.
And thank you for watching. And go Cougs.
Go Cougs.